expose evil here. Like, share, subscribe. Today I'm going to do a video on the rites of Dionysius being the same as the rites in Satanism, and go exactly the same way that the victims in Satanic ritual abuse tell it, both children and adults. So let's start off on page 109 here in Dictionary of Satanism by Wade Baskin. Dionysius, or Bacchus. In classical mythology, the god of wine and fertility, his cult was widespread in Thrace, where the Thracian women were particularly dedicated to his orgiastic rites. The women Marnades, in their ecstatic frenzy, abandoned their homes, roamed the fields and hillsides, dancing, swinging their flaming torches. In their passion, they caught and tore apart animals, sometimes even children, and devoured their flesh, thus acquiring communion with the divinity. Okay? And it says, let me continue. Dionysius himself at times appeared to them in the form of some animal, usually a bull. Now I'm going to continue reading at page 229, but first, let me show you the similarities in the other mystery religions, like in the mysteries of Isis or Osiris. Here we go. This is A History of Phallic Worship by Richard Payne Knight.
A History of Phallic Worship. Phallic is a penis. By Richard Payne Knight. Page 120. I'm going to skip to the bottom. He's talking about Isis and he's talking about Horus, okay? He says, the Greeks who represented the mother under the form of a beautiful woman naturally represented the son under the form of a beautiful boy. But the people who represented the mother under the form of a cow would as naturally represent the son under the form of a calf.
So we see that Dionysus comes in the form of a bull, same as Osiris, as the ape is bull. As we just read from A History of Phallic Worship, we know Isis is a cow, and the son Horus would be the calf, right? So if you take it with Dionysus is the bull, then his son Priapus would be the calf, and then whoever Priapus' mother is will be the cow. And we hear Acts 7:43, they were worshiping Rephan. Rephan right here. Star of your god Rephan. Rephan is actually Saturn, the father of Zeus, the grandfather of Dionysus. So you see right here. And the star of your god Rephan. Rephan appears to have been understood by the LXX translators as equivalent for the Hebrew Chuan, which is supposed by many scholars to be identified with the planet Saturn. Okay? Now you see it again right there. Now we go back to Acts 7:41. You see, they were worshiping it in the form of a calf. See? And they made a calf in those days, who will represent Horus or Priapus or Dionysus. Now we're reading from Dictionary of Satanism, page 229. It says mystery religions. Remember, the mystery religions, same as Revelations, Mystery Babylon. Certain pagan religions received initiates by secret rites that were not publicly divulged. The secret knowledge thus acquired by the aspirant would ensure advantages in his present life and the life after death. Like probably being rich, having a good job, like the Masons do with their fellow Masons, getting them into good jobs and stuff like that, getting the hookup, whatever you want to call it. The most important mysteries religions were those of the Greeks, Pyrgians, Syrians, Egyptians, Persians, Among the Greeks, the rites celebrated at Eleusis were the most famous. They were associated with Demeter and Persephone and interpreted a vegetation concept like Tammuz, the son of Nimrod, Ezekiel 8:14. Other Greek mysteries were celebrated at Adania and in the island of Samothrace. The Dionysiac mysteries were observed in different places. The ceremonies, which were orgiastic, required the drinking of the sacred wine and eating of raw flesh of the sacred animal, drinking its blood. The ultimate purpose of the cult was to ensure of immortality. In Phrygia, the mysteries were connected with Cybele, the mother goddess. As the nature goddess, she mourned the death of her young consort Attis and rejoiced on his return to earth. And the mysteries simply involved a vegetation myth. As you see, all these gods, different names, the same people, same myths, just different names, a little bit changes. The way it got spread is Genesis 11:8. God spread them from Babylon to all over the earth. And obviously they continued their worship of Nimrod and Semiramis. And it says, in Syria, the mysteries again involved a vegetation myth centered around Adonis, the consort of nature goddess, who dies and is reborn. Again, Ezekiel 8:14, weeping for Tammuz. If you look at the commentary, it's the same as weeping for Adonis. The Egyptian mysteries of Isis and Osiris were popular throughout the Greco-Roman world, just like I was telling you guys. The last mystery religion was immensely popular in the Roman Empire was Mithraism. That's Mithras, the cult of Mithra. There you go, Mithra, and his conflict with Ariman, the spirit of evil. Initiation ceremonies were elaborate and demanded a great deal of preparation and atrocity. Strarity, whatever, if I mispronounce it, sorry. There were sacramental rites, ablutions, sacred meals, and 7 stages of advancement, symbolizing the passage of the soul after death through the 7 heavens into the abode of the blessed. The initiate reached the ultimate inner mystery. Women were excluded from membership in this cult. So, right there, they're probably talking about raising your chakras into your pineal gland, going through the 7 heavens or whatever. That's what it probably makes sense of. If you're having trouble believing that all those pagan gods are the same, and you don't want to believe Alexander Hislop, the 2 Babylons, 1858, where he proves every pagan god is just the same as Nimrod, Tammuz, or Semiramis, taken from the Masons in the book The Master Mason, authorized by the Grand Lodge Free and Accepted Masons of Indiana, compiled by Committee on Masonic Education. Here you go. The Master Mason, authorized by the Grand Lodge of Free and Accepted Masons of Indiana, compiled by Committee on Masonic Education. Pages 9 and 10. And this agrees with what our Bible is saying. And, these people worship this guy, so you got to take what they're saying. You got to take some of their stuff, what they're saying as truth, even though we know they're perverting a lot. The idea that lies behind the Homeric legend is as old as religious thinking among men. The same elements existed in the story of Osiris, which was celebrated by the Egyptians in their ancient temples. The old Persians told it concerning Mithras, their hero god. In Syria, the Dionysian mysteries had the very same elements in the story of Dionysius. For the Roman Bacchus was the god who died and lived again. There's also the story of Tammuz, older than any of these. These are collectively referred to as the ancient mysteries. They were celebrated by secret societies much like ours in allegorical ceremonies, during which initiates were advanced from one degree to another. And these old societies, read these old stories for yourself and marvel how men in all ages have taught the same great truths in the same effective way.